Hello, everyone. Thank you for listening. And on February the 5th, there's going to be an interesting structure with Chiron and Venus. Let's take a look at the chart, which actually is for noon, because in the Budapest chart, there's going to be a beautiful Merkaba, a six-pointed star. Unfortunately, in London, I couldn't find the space-time moment when the angles, the MC and ascendant, are forming a trine. But you can actually take a look at the Budapest chart if you want to. You won't understand Magyar, unfortunately, but you can still see the Merkaba. I didn't want to put it here. So this is the title. Shall I love? Will it hurt? And of course, love always hurts. That is what Venus Chiron aspects describe. My master Judy Hall calls this particular planetary combination as love hurts, and she actually called it for a long time. This is how she labeled it, and after a couple of years. Since I also have a fixed square, and I told her, please give me some future potential or perspective, because yeah, I know quite well that love hurts, but couldn't we just rephrase it somehow? And she looked at me and she said, okay, love is going to also heal. So love has healing properties, and it's very, very true. Both are true for Chiron Venus aspects. And as I said, this is the noon chart for London, but I don't actually highlight anything in the chart itself. Let's go straight to the structure that I wanted to show you. And this is it. We have a classic trapeze and a cardinal karmic cage. What is a karmic cage? You have an exact opposition squared by something. So practically it is a T-square, but I call all T-squares karmic cages that are done with the nodal axis, because as you probably know, the south node is something that we bring in from previous incarnations. It is our survival tool. It is something that we start doing when we are either threatened or cornered or feel threatened. And this is the south node, and the north node is our chosen destiny. It describes the energy pattern and also the house placement, the sphere of life that we need to accomplish in order to fulfill our destiny. And of course, it's much easier to utilize the south node than to go towards the north node and learn new skills. It is usually done only in the second half of life, sometimes even the third portion of life, or sometimes even at the last couple of days when we realize what we should have done. And in this particular space-time moment, there is this karmic cage with the nodes, Chiron and Venus. As you can see, Chiron is almost conjunct the North Node. The exact conjunction will be maybe on the 19th of February, something like that. So there's still, we will have a new moon before that, and then we will have the Chiron North Node conjunction. And here the nodal axis describes what's happening to us. We are meek and diplomatic, and we think that we should not hurt anyone's feelings, and we should be nice, and we should be good people. That's the south node right there, where the north node in Aries shows that we need to learn to fight for what's ours, for what is due to us. And the Aries Chiron describes karmic wounds around aggression, violence, wars, blood, fire, all kinds of things. And mind you, Chiron stays 12 years in Aries. It's the longest for him. It's as the longest transit in a sign. If you consider that Chiron's orbital period is around 50 years, and you divide it by 12, the average should be 4.5 years. But in Aries, it only shows that we really have a lot of karmic wounds. And normally, a planet or a celestial object that has only 50 years of orbit doesn't make five-pointed transits or retrograde and again direct motions, only 3 times usually or once. But in Chiron's case, in Aries, you have many five-pointed transits, lasso transits, of course. So this is a karmic cage with Venus at its point. But also, if you consider, there's also a classic trapeze with the sun and the moon. So actually, we have this love hurts, but love needs to be healed or needs to have healing properties or has healing properties. That idea is now being highlighted and illuminated by the sun and the moon. The moon, of course, is the spiritual energy, and the sun is the conscious energy in it. So this really is a space-time moment that can give us healing. And I'm recording this video a couple of days before the 5th. Naturally, I always try to be a couple of days earlier because, first of all, because the days that are taking us towards the exact transit are always potential. So the gates are opening, the energies are starting to flow. So you can always utilize it ahead of time. And today, something really miraculous happened to me. There, on a very personal level. So I'm not going to tell you what, but a love energy was restored in my life. That caused me a lot of pain, and all of a sudden, out of the blue, it seems to be restored. So I was really very happy. And I can tell you that this is already how the energies are forming for this particular configuration. And as you can see, there's also this little angel wing. So everything, the tip is the Venus. And what is Venus? Venus is harmony, well-being, love, money, security, whatever you can create in your life that is giving you either some goodness or some stability. That is all Venus. And yes, love hurts, of course. If you start a love affair or if you have loved ones, they will always cause you grief or pain as well. So that's just the normal human existence. If we take a look at, oh, by the way, sorry. So about the classic trapeze, if you take a look at the inside of the trapeze, the inner energy are 2 trines. One is the moon node Chiron conjunction trine. So this is a fire trine, and fire is the element of transformation. And then the sun south node is an air trine. So that is the conscious consideration of what we already know. And this is an age when we seem to be forgetting what we have known for a long time, for centuries, for millennia, because the powers that be want us to forget what is natural and what is for sure. Here are the transcendental celestial objects. And what struck me as important is the fact that we have a number of fixed stars and not, besides, of course, Chiron, no centaurs or TNOs. Those who are listening to my videos for the first time, I always color code the transcendental objects. The asteroids which describe the personal karmic level are always magenta or purple. Fixed stars are red, and they don't belong to the 3D energy because they are out there in the universe. So they describe universal potentials and higher dimensions. And then if we had a few or even one TNO or centaur, that would be blue. So in this chart, you see red and purple. So that is Teresa, those are your two best colors. Don't your shocking psychedelic colors, especially the 2 of them. Anyhow, so that's what we have in on the sun. We have Circe, the sorceress, and Amenhotep, a pharaoh. And so you have the 2 magical figures, really. Let's put it this way. The Rotanev is Beta Dolphin, and the whole constellation Dolphin is the healing word for Atlantean karma. Atlantean karma is very difficult because we actually practically destroyed our Earth, so became homeless in our home planet, and a lot of souls believe that they had a hand in it, and you couldn't touch Atlantean karma for the last 12 millennia, and now it is slowly healing. This energy is also healing, and Rotanev Beta Dolphin is the shadow energy for this. The moon, the Sagittarius moon, is on Ras Al Ghadi, which is Alpha Hercules. It is just past the um, great attractor, because the great attractor is at 14 degrees, and this is more than 2 degrees away from it. So that's why I don't mention it. Well, I did, but anyhow, that's why it's not there. Ras Algeti, which is Alpha Hercules, the head of the constellation Hercules, which is one of the strong men in the sky, and actually opposite Orion. And Orion is now in the night sky, and the you can see behind Orion part of the Milky Way. And then in the summer, it is Hercules that is also carrying the other half of the Milky Way. So these are the two strong men who are actually lifting up our Milky Way. On Venus, you have Psyche, obviously, soul searching, and Parsifal, the knight in shining armor. And then you have two bright stars, Rukbat and Vega, which I showed you a couple of videos earlier, maybe 1 or 2 videos earlier. Rukbat is Alpha Sagittarius, and the Sagittarius, the archer, is the archer, not the centaur itself. It is man and horse, the equestrian energy there, and not the suffering Chironian energy. So it's a centaur, but not the centaur. It's the archer that is important here. And Rukbat is one of his feet, his legs, and it denotes steadiness and strength. And then Vega, which is Alpha Lyra, which is one of the shaman stars. And it's the uplifting energy of music, that is a healing and transforming energy that is represented here. On Chiron, you have Pandora, obviously the first woman who caused the whole tragedy of mankind. Take a look at the myth and you will see what I mean. And so it's really quite telling, because actually Pandora was the lover of Epimetheus, and she couldn't understand that she should not open the Petos, this jar that had the things that were bad to mankind. And on the North Node, you have Clotho, who is the first one of the fates, who is actually creating the threads for your life. And Nodus second, or Nodus 2, which is Delta Draco, and the whole constellation Draco is about creating or guarding a treasure. And Nodus is the second hook on the body of the celestial dragon. And in the South Node, you have Shiva. And Shiva, of course, is the Trimurti of the she or he, I don't even know, she's usually depicted as a woman, and she's a destroyer, and someone in the Trimurti who is recreating stuff because it needs to be destroyed first in order to be recreated. So that is the and I wanted to show you a midpoint structure. Now, obviously, when you have a configuration, which is also a midpoint, you always interpret the configuration itself, not the midpoint. So in this case, the moon, North Node, moon, Chiron trine is really a trine, but at the same time, also the midpoint of the sun. Whereas there's no aspect between Mars and Saturn, so that's a true midpoint structure. Now, so these are the sun's midpoints, and let's read it, because in karmic astrology, when we read midpoints, despite what Reinhold Ebertin taught about midpoints, we always read the celestial objects in their best potentials and not worst potentials. So in this case, the sun is defined by these 3 midpoints. One is the Chiron moon, which means that in order to heal, you need your family and your cardinal emotions and your mothering and mothering instincts. That's Chiron moon. Also, you need to highlight what you need to do as a destiny choice. Your soul needs to be in your destiny choice in order to become what you are, the sun. And Saturn Mars, which normally if you see a bad or challenging or stressful Saturn Mars aspect, we translate it as or delineate it as the impotence aspect. But in this case, simply means steady strength, or to exercise your will, Mars, in a steady, grounded manner, Saturn. So that is how you become what you need to become. That's the midpoint structure. And I think that's it. I don't know. Oh, yes, this is important. I remember that I put this somewhere on the Astrological Lodge is creating a karmic astrology seminar, which is on April the 20th. And it's online, certainly. And there are 4 speakers, the wonderful Wanda Stellar, the even more wonderful and very famous Stephen Forrest, Anna Isabel, who I don't know, I blush to say, but she seems to be very, very nice and very interesting what she's going to talk about, and myself. Do come, do register, and let's meet there. Thank you for listening, and try to utilize this healing energy on the 5th of February for yourself and for your loved ones. Thank you. Bye-bye.